What's up everyone, I am Salis. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are interested in contents related to architecture and design, like, share and follow to Arc Studio. Today we shall be starting a series of 3 videos which would contain the entire required syllabus of AutoCAD 2D, which would be helpful for architecture, civil and mechanical and interior design students. So the topics that are going to be covered is that we are going to look into the introduction to the AutoCAD and also look into the interface that is there. Then we will be looking how to set up the units, then draw and modify tools which are present. Then we will look how to do some precise working with the help of Snap and Ortho tools. Then we will do we will do layers and blocks. We'll work in layers and blocks, and also I'll tell you some sites which would where you could find free CAD blocks. And then we will be looking about how to do annotation and dimensioning in your file. Then we will be looking into the last class about the plotting and drawing on the scales by layout tool in AutoCAD. So the first interface that you encounter is such a thing. Uh, so you have like two parts. If you could see, there is something like a recent document, and then you have a start drawing template. So from here you could either select the templates that is required, or you can just simply click on the start drawing. If you click on it, you could see that you will come to another interface like this, wherein which you have on the top side you have a toolbar. In the mid you will be seeing a command bar and also again a small toolbar at the bottom place. The on the top, this toolbar is basically used for used by you to get most of the tools like for drawing purpose or for the editing purpose and stuffs. And the command bar is something that is used for typing in the command. So while working in AutoCAD, what I suggest is that you are left hand to be in your keyboard and your right hand to be on your mouse. Okay, so that is the easiest method so as to work, and your thumb to be in in the space bar, so that the after typing the commands you could give a space bar so as to send the command for AutoCAD. Okay, it's it's worked like that. Okay. Then next thing which I would be telling you to do is to check about the units. For that you need to type units in your keyboard. It will also showcase in your command bar as well. You just type units and press enter. Okay, you will come to a dialog box like this. From here you could change the units at which you are gonna work it. I am a person who works with metric system, so I'm gonna select millimeters from here. And also you could get the precision at which you need the work. I normally prefer 2 points after this decimal, and then you could press OK. So now my units are fixed in millimeters or a metric system. So this is the first thing that you need to do when you are using the CAD. The second thing that I would show you guys is about to zoom in and zoom out. For that, you can simply scroll up and scroll down in your mouse button. And for you making a pan command, pan is if you could see, if you press on the scroll button, you will see a hand coming. This hand is used for moving the space that you have left or right or top or bottom. Okay, so that is what the pan tool helps in. Fine. So this much understood. Then we would be going into the different draw tools out here. Okay, so here from here the first draw tool is the line. You can either select the tool or you could give escape. Then if you could type L space, then also the command line would be formed. Okay, then you just need to just need to click the first point, and you can either type in the second point or you can click for the second point that is required. Okay, if you need to provide at an angle or so, you can basically keep it at an angle, and then also you can type the the number that is required. For example, if I'm using 3000, I can just type 3000 and press enter. Okay, and then give either space bar, and then you could see that the line gets drawn. The second, now I'm just deleting it by just selecting it with selecting it and then just pressing the delete. Okay, then coming on to the polyline. Polyline is a continuous line that is to be drawn. So if you click polyline, if you keep drawing and then if you hit spacebar, you will get a single line. The same thing if I draw with the line, I'll show you. If I draw with the line the same thing, what happens is that each thing will become a different entity. Each line is a different entity. While using a line command, in a poly command it becomes a single entity. So that's the difference between polyline and line in AutoCAD. Then I will also tell you about the selection thing which I did just before. So if you in AutoCAD, if you keep pressing your, if you click on your first click on the left mouse button, and then if you scroll it towards your right hand side, okay, then anything that is inside this box will get selected. For example, if you want only this, this and this to be selected for in a fast method, what you do is you can use the right scroll button and then just keep place this inside the rectangle that you are gonna select. So only this would get selected. If you are moving it from left to, if you're moving from right to left, then what happens is that anything that is coming in touch with it will get selected. Okay, if it need not be inside, but anything that is getting touched will get selected. Look, the the this line, this line is just touching it but not inside it. Okay, then that also gets selected if you are moving from right to left. Okay, so that is about the selection tool. Then we will be moving into circles. There are different types of circles that are available in AutoCAD. You can either use the short command C spacebar and then draw the circle. First point will make the center of the circle, and the second point would give you the radius. Either you can type in the radius, or you could click on it. Now I'm just clicking on it. Similarly, you can form circles of different styles. That is center diameter type style, diameter type circle is there, 2-point circle is there, 3-point circle is there, tangential circles are there, even 3-point tangential circles are also there. You can explore it. Then we will go on to the arc tool. If you click arc, then this would help you create arcs. Okay, first point, second point, third point gives you an arc. Okay, there are different varieties of arc as well. That is, if you could if the column is pulled down, if you could see that there are like start and the curves, the arcs made out of start point, then the center point and the midpoint, then the start end and angle. This is one of the highly used by even by me as well. So I normally select this as whenever I'm doing arc. So here what happens is the first point, second point and the third point creates the arc. Okay, so that is the method of using the arc. Fine. You can also use the short command arc. Arc, if you click and give a space bar, then also you will get the arc. Fine. That is also can be used for giving arcs. Then we will move on to rectangle tool. So for drawing the rectangle, you can give RAC spacebar, and then you could select the first point, and for the second point either you can choose the dimensions. If I'm pressing dimension, it will ask you what is the length and the width of the rectangle that you require. So I am just typing 3000 and pressing enter, and the second also I'm just giving 3000 and pressing enter. You can see a rectangle being formed. Got it? And the third click will tell you which place you need this rectangle to be placed, in which quadrant. Okay, so I'm just clicking on the first quadrant, and then you will see the rectangle being formed. So this is how you make the rectangle. And then there is also one more option, that is the, if you drop down this, you will see another option, polygon, or you can also type in poly. It will also give you the polygon command. So now if you could see in the command bar, there is it will ask for the number of sides that you require for the polygon. Now if I'm pressing 5 and clicking enter, then it will ask for the edge. So I just need to make the edge, click on the place where I want, then it will ask whether you want it inscribed or circumscribe the circle. So now I'm just using it inscribed, and then you could see that it has generated a polygon. Okay, and then you can either click on the second point, or you can give the radius of the circle at which this polygon is to be inscribed in. Okay, I'm just clicking it for this, and now then you could see that the polygon is being made. Next tool that we are gonna discuss is about the ellipse tool out here. There are like 3 types of ellipse. I will discuss 1, 2. You can try it off yourself. You could press ellipse. This is the most common used. Center and the edge, and the third is basically the angle. Now the bulge. You can tell the bulge of the ellipse. Okay, so the third point could give the bulge, and then I could either you can type in the dimensions, or you could basically click in the dimensions. Okay, so that's about the draw tool. Then I would like to give, if you if there's a drop menu as well, if you put it down, you could see many more, but it is rarely used. Among this, only one thing that is highly used, that is a spline fit, or the or a spline line. If you could type SPL spacebar, will also give that. Okay, and this would help you to get a curved line. Okay, like this would be really useful for you if you want to trace something or trace an image in CAD over it. Okay, so and then if you if you press space bar, it would leave the spline line. Cool. So this is how this much is the most important draw tools that is required. And next we will go on to the modifying tools. Modifying tools, there are like move, copy, and all. So if I make a rectangle out here, and then I want to move this rectangle from this place to somewhere else, so you can either select the object, type M spacebar, and then it will ask for a point. Okay, you can select the point from where you want to take it. Okay, I'm selecting this, and then you can either type in the displaced position, or you can just place it where you want it to be placed. So now I'm just moving it here. Cool. So that is how you use the move tool. Next is the copy tool. So there are like 2 copies. One is a single time copying, and then there's the multiple time copying. Okay, you can select this thing, you can press copy, you can see there are like displays and multiple. Okay, if you select and simply move it like how you did the move tool, it will copy one time. If you select it, give copy, and you just click on multiple out here on the command bar, then you can skip, keep on copying it multiple number of times. Cool. That is what this copy tool does. And if you could either give escape, or you can give spacebar. One more thing I just forgot to tell you is that if you use spacebar after a command is being over, it will repeat the command as well. Okay, now I was using using the spacebar, so it asked for copying the object, so I selected the object, giving again spacebar, then you can basically do the command once again. Cool. Then we would be looking into the command called stretch. So stretch is required by architects when we have a wall like this. Okay, and we had a plot line here. Then now the plot line is moved a little, and now we want this wall to be attached to uh, this plot line. So what we have to do is we have to select the lines, click on stretch, and then select the point from where to where it needs to be extended. So that is what the stretch does. We can also do this with the help of extend command. If I'm having a line, I'm just copying it, CO, and then spacebar also gives you copy. I'm just copying it. If you could select the extended where till where you want to extend it, and then if you type EX and give spacebar, and then you can basically extend which all lines to be extended till that point. Okay, if you could select, it will show a preview, and then you can basically click. Okay, so this would give also the could also give something like a stretch as well. Fine. Next is about the rotate tool. Rotate is used for it's as its name suggests, is used for rotating. For rotating, what you need to do, select the objects that is required to be rotated, click on rotate, then it will ask for a point of rotating. Okay, so I'm selecting the point of rotating, and then you can either type in the angle at which you need to rotate, or you can either select the point where you feel like it is okay for you to rotate. Okay, now I'm just typing 45 degree and pressing enter, then it will be at an angle 45 degree. So this is what the rotate tool does. Next we will talk about the mirror tool. Select the object, click on the mirror tool, or also you can type in mirror, and then it will ask for a line where the mirror need to be placed. Okay, like if I am having a object like this, and I am having a mirror kept here. Okay, let this line be a mirror. So this thing, this object needs to be mirrored along this line. Okay, so that is what the mirror asks for. So if I'm selecting it, giving mirror, and then if I am giving a line, so you can see that the mirror plane will be asked. So I am clicking the second point to give the mirror, then it will be asked, should you erase the first object? Okay, I'm giving no. You can give the command, you can press no or yes, whichever you want. If you press no, it will retain the object, and then you will come out of the command. Okay, so that is how you use mirror tool. Next is scale. So I'm just moving this one out here, and then we will look into scale. So if you select an object and give scale, it will ask for a base point. Okay, you can select the base point, and then you can give how much you want it to be scaled. I'm now gonna scale it 2 times, and I'm just typing 2 and pressing enter. So now the object got double the size of what it was. You can also scale it less, like 0.5 or half of it, by selecting it, typing C spacebar, clicking at a point, and then typing 0.5 and then pressing enter. It will become half of the size. Cool. So that is how we do the scaling. The scale could be also done for a reference as well. For example, if I have a line like this and I want my object out here, I want the edge of the my rectangle to be the edge of this line. So for that, what I do is I select the rectangle and give the command scale. Okay, and select the base point, and then it will ask for a reference. Out in the command bar, they'll ask for reference. You can select a reference, then click on the first point, second point of the scale, and then move it, then just move it and select the edge of the line that you have. So now this object becomes the scale with the help of the reference of the line that we had. Okay, so that is how we use the line scale. Next is trim. So trim is used extensively by architects or any student who is using AutoCAD, because trim is used for cutting the edges that is there. Okay, So if I am having something like this joint and I don't want this lines inside of it, so what I do is I select it, type tr, give space bar, and then you can simply delete the lines, okay, within the interior. You can also do it with the help of just selecting it. You can go to the option trim here, and then also you can trim it, trim the lines from here, okay. This and these two lines are not selected, so if you could see the lines that you need, all the lines should be selected, okay. If you want this line to be trimmed, this line and this line is to be selected so as to delete this trim, okay, any line that is in between, fine. So that's about trim. Then we will tell about fillet. Fillet is about giving a curve to the line. For example, if I have like two lines like this and I want to curve this here, so what I use is I go to fillet. It will ask for selecting the first it will ask for radius. You can give select radius. Now it is 0 0. I am giving it 300, okay, and pressing enter, and then you can select the objects that is required, okay. Now I guess the fillet is too small, okay, that's why it is there but it is small, okay. So that's how you give a curved edge to a place, or chamfering a edge, you can basically tell like that. That is the use of fillet. Next we will talk about array. Next we'll talk about array. Array means if you want to create a set or a group of objects in a line or in a circle or in a path or so. So you basically use this command called array. For array, what you does is that you need to click on the drop menu. You have rectangular array. If you click rectangular array, it will ask to select an object. I select an object, click spacebar, then you will see it basically creates a, or it basically generates it. You can either edit it from here, or you can also edit it from here, like columns, rows, it will be given, or you can edit it from the toolbar. It basically changes a little. So from it basically shows something like a array creation, okay. So from here you can basically change the rows and change the columns as well, like to 8, okay. And if you could see, it basically becomes like a rows and columns, and then you need to give spacebar, and it will basically form the array that you required. Similarly, you can also create the array for path. Array for path means if I have a line like this, and if I want, I'm just moving this it here, and I want this object to be along this line, throughout this line. So I give the command array. I just type array, or I could select the array from here, okay. If I need a polar array for polar, no, sorry, path array, okay. So from here, if you could select path array, then it will ask for an object array path. Then I just need to select the object and give spacebar. Then it'll ask for the path through which I need to make the array. So I will select the array. So you can see that now a array is formed along the path. You can also give it as a curved path or so. And then if you want, you can also edit it. You can give the number or the item as well. You can give the number of rows it is required, the distance between it, the number of items as to be or to be between it. Now it is 12. I can also make it like 15 and create enter 15, and I just need to change this in between how much is required. Then 15, if I want, I can create that. I can give the space, I can increase the distance and increase the number of things that is between them, okay. That also could be done with the array option that forms when you click on it, okay. So that is about the path array. Now we want something called a polar array. Polar array means if you want a amphitheater to be made, or OAT to be made. I'm having a object like this. Now I want to create a polar array. So I selected, go to this, go to array, drop menu and click polar array. Now it will ask for a point. Okay, base point of rotation. I'm just giving this to be the center of the circle. So you could see that it forms a circle like this. You can change the number of items like 5. Then it will ask also in fill. If you change the number of if you change the fill, that if it is made 180, you could see it's just filled only half at an angle of 180. If you make it 60, it will get filled in an angle of 60 degree. If you want is 360, if you press enter, it will become filled in a 360. You can change the number as well into something like 12. If you press, it will become 12. You can also change the distance between them as well. Cool. So that is how you create a polar array. So that much is about the modified tools. Then other than that, you don't have much to be used. I will tell you one more thing, that is the use of offset and explode. Okay, this there is called something called as offset. If you have a line, okay, like this, and you want this is the command offset is used mainly when you want, if you have a single line plan and you want to make a double line of it. So what you do is you type offset, then give spacebar, and then you can give the amount like 230 and press enter. Okay, and now you just need to select at the object. So you could see that it, how many times you want, you can just select and then move it. Okay, so it keeps on offsetting, or it keeps on creating the uh, a line that is 230 mm from this line. Okay, so that is what it keeps doing. So this is really useful when you have a single line plan. For example, I have a room like this. Okay, and I am this is a single line plan. I want the double line plan of it. So what I do is I just type offset. Okay, or I could click on this button. Okay, out here I just click offset, then I just need to type. I'm considering this as the mid of the word, so I just required it as 115 and press enter, and then you just keep offsetting it on both the sides. Okay, so you just simply make the wall within double line plan of it within no times, and you could erase the interior lines that is formed by just selecting it and pressing delete. Okay, you can just delete the center lines that is being formed out here. Okay, and with the help of trim command, you can trim the edge that is being coming, or edge that is protruding outside. You can just use trim tr spacebar and click it, and you can join these two with the help of fillet. You can type F and then spacebar, then you can give the radius to be 0 and press enter, and then you can basically create it. Because a fillet, if it will ask for the radius, so if it is 300 radius, if it is a 0 radius, means that it will be joining perpendicular. So that is what the fillet like that could be also used. So that is how you make a double line plan. And when I was telling about this double line plan, I also remembered one more command which would be really useful, that is known as a mline. Okay, if you type ml, you will get something like a mline. Then there are like justification, scale and style option. You can check scale, and then you can write 230 and press enter. So this helps you to create a double line that is going, that works as a line. Okay, so if you start, and if you could see that you will have a double line. Okay, so it works as a line, but it simply forms a double line. So this basically helps you creating the walls very fast. Okay, so you could basically, so this is like a polyline that is being there, and it basically forms the walls in no times. Cool. So that is the use of M line. Next command is explode. So in sometimes this Mline or the polyline that we have are a single entity, so we don't want that. We want it to be a multiple lines or so. Then what we do it, we can either type X spacebar, or we can use this button over here known as explode. If you explode it, you could see that this becomes like single lines instead of a single entity. You can undo it by doing Control Z. Okay, it will make it back into the normal one. I just want it to be explode, then click explode or type X spacebar. So this much is what about draw and modify tool is about. So next we will just see this small toolbar out here as well, so that for us to do something like a precise work or so. So if we have a line, so the first tool is model or paper, which is not you. We will look into it when we look about the layout part. Now we have something like a grid mode. So this is the grid that we are seeing presently. If you turn it off, when you click it, it will turn off. So you will, if you don't want to work in grid, you can basically turn it off. I normally don't work with this because grid basically does not allow me to see my work properly when I'm working in CAD. So I normally turn it off. You can basically use F7 also for the same. You can just press F7 so as to format. Next is the snap. If you want it to get snapped over your grid, or your snap on the grid, you can basically keep it on, and you can also tick this grid snap. Okay, I normally don't keep these two on. Okay, second is about the ortho mode. This is really useful when if you want a line to either move only in the perpendicular directions. So if I press L spacebar, I get the line, and if I am moving it, if I am moving it, you can see I can rotate it in any direction. But if I press F8, or if I click on this ortho mode, it would basically only move in perpendicular directions. Okay, 90 and 180-degree only. It will start moving. So I'm just turning it. So that is the use of this ortho mode. So that is what it helps us in doing. Fine. So I'm just offing this ortho. Next is the polar tracking. So polar tracking basically helps if you on it and keep, if you make a line, you could see that there is a line that is coming at 0 degree, 45 degree, 90 degree, 270 degree, 360 degree, and so on. Okay, so this basically helps you to get the angles in between, or get a specific point of this angle, so that it is easy for us to create some shapes very fast. Okay, so this polar tracking could also be changed, like if you want only, you want it to be in 30 60 90 ratio, or the increment angle to be 30, you can select 30, or you can also go to the tracking settings. You can go to the tracking settings from here. If you could go here, tracking settings, you could see the increment angle. If you could make it 15, means after all 15 this line will start showing, like 15, 30, 45, 60, and so this increment, this line will be started to show. Now I'm not, if far as I'll show it 15, if I'm pressing OK, and you can see like 15, 30, 45, then again at 60, then 75 and 90 it becomes. So this starts showing. Fine. I'll just make it about 4590, so that normally I normally work with that. Okay. Second is the ISO draft out here, which is not used much. And next, after that, it is only used when you use 3D. Okay, AutoCAD 3D, which are rarely used nowadays. Then next is the Objectsnap. Okay, Objectsnap Tracking, or F11. If you click F11, it will be on. If you click it again, it will be turned on off. Okay, so this is what is that, if you have a line, okay, and if I want next line to be at a distance like 7 70,000. Okay, from this line, this point I want it to be 70,000 down. So if you don't keep this checked, what happens is that you can't get that point after you get snapped here. Okay, so if you keep it on and then if you start moving along it, it will show like end point you have, like it is in 13,185 mm. You can see that it starts increasing. So now I'm just making it as 2000 and then pressing enter. So you will see that from this point, at this point I am getting the light. So that is what the help of this object snap tracking used. Then we will have something called object snap or F3. So this is really useful. Always keep this on. Try to not to keep it off, because this is something that is helping in precise work. If you could get the drop down on, you would tick on the endpoints, midpoints, center points, node, and the apparent intersection. You can also check on the rest, but it will basically make it more complex in nature. So normally what I try to check it these stuffs, and then what it does is that whenever you come to the end point, you can see a green color. If you want to make a line, I'm typing L spacebar, and when you move to the end point, you can see that something like a green color box comes up. So that represents that it is the end point. If you move to the middle point, a triangle forms it. This shows that is the midpoint of this line and then the edge. So then if you could go, then if you are drawing a line and then it intersects, then it shows a cross sign. So it shows that it is getting intersected. If you don't on it and then work, this will not come. So it will never be a precise work and you will not be able to work on it in proper way. That is the thing. So that is what is used. This much is the stuff that are highly used by in this toolbar down here. Next, for today's class, next thing that is to be used is something called the hatch command, and with that I will be ending the class for today. For then, so if I'm making two rectangles and I want to give some hatch to it, like this is a concrete surface, this is a glass surface or so. So you could press hatch out here, or you can give H space bar. A dialog box like this would come in. Okay, and then you could select the hatch that is required. Now I am just giving a brick wall. Okay, and then I am just selecting this. Now you would see there is a small problem out here, that is and you could give spacebar. Okay, then it will ask whether to hatch on something like this. You can just give automatically adjust the hatch scale. Okay, and then you could see there is some issue that everything looks blank. So what is the thing is that if you select it, you could see that the dimension is a little less according to the scale of the object. Okay, so I'm just giving it 00 and pressing enter. You could see it starts appearing, so it is really less. Okay, that's why it happens. If you could go it again, now you could see that it starts appearing. You can adjust the scale from this toolbar out here. You can adjust whatever scale it is in, so you can basically adjust it. Cool. So that is how you can also give color to this by using by layers. You can give the color to it. You can give the background color of that with the help of this. If it is none, now I can just give a light gray color as well. You can also change this from pattern to gradient as well. You can change it to gradient. If you select gradient, it will ask for the gradient colors that is required as well. Then it will also ask for the hatch. If you move to pattern as well, it will ask for hatch transparency. You can change it to 50, means it will become lighter. You can also change it to, like, you can change the angle. For example, if I change it to 45-degree, it will be at an angle, this hatch. Okay, so that's how you do it. You can either press escape or space bar, it you will come back to the normal thing. So that's for today's class. So see you for next class soon.